Reddit, what is your story of petty revenge? My roommate tried petty revenge and it backfired on her. I'd consider my roommates R&B good friends and we get on well most of the time. We do have our normal problems though, and this is a story of the most recent one. B and I are currently preparing for exams. A has hers later in January. So it's pretty quiet in our flat right now. B and I go to bed early, wake up early to study. A is enjoying her free time, goes to bed at 1 in the morning, and gets up at 9ish, sometimes later. That's fine with me, I'm just envious of her free time. Unfortunately, she kept waking me up by turning the lights on, or generally being noisy. No big deal. I tell her politely to keep it down. But it doesn't stop, and after a couple of days of being woken up past midnight, I'm mad. Annoyed and tired as I was, I text her a link to a website with the time that is customarily considered nighttime in our country. They are from 10 PM to 6 AM, widely common and federal lawsuits are sometimes based on them. I text her to again please be considerate of us, and that I'll be happy to keep it down when it's her time for exams. I was passive aggressive, I know. But I thought it was really inconsiderate, and I had had enough. This is where she tried to be petty. Each night, until 10, she listens to music or watches movies without headphones, is loud in the kitchen, or invites friends over. This is unusual, and I realize what she's trying to do. However, I doesn't realize that B and I don't go to bed until 11, so it doesn't bother us at all. But I do get up at 6:30, and if she's being petty, so will I. I wait until B is awake, because I'm not trying to annoy her. Then, I unload the dishwasher, forgetting to close the kitchen door. I brush my teeth with my electric toothbrush, again forgetting to close doors. I might not have closed the front door as gently as I usually would. I might have woken A up at 8ish by doing all of these things. But it's past 6, so it stops being petty at night after that. I'm not woken up again past midnight. We also talked about it, apologized, and it's all good now. But how she didn't see the flaw in her plan, I really don't know. Inconsiderate neighbors think I'll shovel their snow. I share a driveway with a very stupid neighbor who sometimes blocks my garage and it hisses me off. So we got out first snowstorm today, and since I have a 3-car garage and they have none, I got space to put extra shit like a snowblower and my motorcycles, tools and whatnot. It's a huge driveway, so since I got the snowblower, they thought I was going to remove snow blocking their vehicles. So I had some homework due today, since class was cancelled, and I finished it up, and went out to remove the snow. Also in mind my car is lowered, and I have summer tires, so the plan was to remove the summer tires, raise my car, and install my winter tires in a snowstorm. Bad idea, but I couldn't do it earlier, because my weekend got ruined. So I get out, and I see my neighbor shoveling snow out of their car, but they are only removing snow from their cars, and not around it. Put in mind there's about a foot or more of snow on the ground. I removed the snowblower, and about 15 minutes after I took it out the neighbors went inside to be cozy and warm, without shoveling their cars, assuming that my big bad MF snowblower would save their day. Oh, were they wrong? So I start moving the BS snow with the snowblower, and it works like a charm. This MF is huge, I think 32 inches, 14 HP, eating that BS up pulling me around, like I'm a cartoon figure. I move snow to the furthest right, because their cars are to the left. I keep that beast moving gobbling up the snow, and soon enough, another one of the neighbors comes in, and this guy's waiting for me to plow, so he can move in his car. I looked at him, laughed and turned off the snowblower, because I had to shovel snow by hand now, because the snowblower doesn't get everything. Once the neighbor saw that, he parked his car on the street, and got a shovel to try to act like he was going to shovel. But I wasn't born last week, so I ignored him cause I knew he wanted me to either shovel his side, or give him the snowblower. He eventually left his car on the street and joined the gang in being warm and cozy, thinking Big Papa over here will handle their responsibilities. Well, eventually I managed to remove all the snow that would help get my vehicles out, moving all that snow to my property and avoiding to touch their side at all. I did a bulk of the work that made their shoveling easier, but they'd still have to shovel to get their cars out, and I know they're all FWD cars with bad tires. They won't go anywhere without shoveling. so I finished shoveling and raising my car and switching the tires by 6:30 p.m. after starting at 1 p.m. No rest, no time to warm up or anything. Just straight suffering, but I was done. I was hungry and went to wash up and ordered a pizza because I was so hungry I could eat a horse if it ran by in the snowstorm. I went upstairs after putting everything away, and when it was time to get my pizza because I couldn't wait 1 hour for delivery, I now see my neighbors with their terrible shovels removing snow. It is not very dark, and they look at me like animals looking to get adopted in a shelter while I drove by with my winter tires, driveway clean, and I'm hungry as hell. I picked up my pizza and reversed in, something I wouldn't have been able to do without my winter tires, and I see them trying to trigger my solar lights so that they can see, because they are too cheap to turn on their lights. I get my pizza and go stuff my face, and now I hear them shoveling. 3 hours after I was done, and now I'm warm and cozy while they're suffering, and will be suffering for a few more hours while I watch TV. TL. Doctor, neighbors thought I'd shovel their driveway while they were inside being cozy and warm. Shoveled my side, and now I'm inside and cozy eating my pizza while they're shoveling in the dark being miserable. Fishing illegally right off my back deck. Meet the dog. Years ago I used to live in a development that didn't start off well, so there were very few residents. In fact, the house I was in used to belong to the guy that started the development and ran off with the money. Anyway, the house was at the end of a good-sized man-made lake and had been stocked with fish. Since it was a private development and a private lake, only residents were allowed to fish there. Personally, I didn't care as I didn't fish, but some people decided to fish 20 feet off the back deck right in view of my dog's kennel, and she would bark. She was a big dog, a Great Pyrenees mix, about 120 pounds and super friendly, but she had a loud bark. Usually after a few minutes of barking, people would get the hint and row away. Every now and then someone wouldn't and would just turn on their radio to drown out the dog. At that point I would go out and tell them this is a private lake and fishing is for residents only, and more often than not they would just move along. Not this guy. He looks up grumpily, flips me off, and turns the music up louder. Cue revenge. I walked over to my dog's kennel, opened the gate, and said, "Go get him, Miha, he has cookies." And she ran across the yard and jumped into the lake, swimming towards Mr. Grumpy, scaring all the fish and then trying to climb in the boat because he had cookies. Mr. Grumpy started to panic because a 120 pounds Great Pyrenees was trying to get in his boat, so he then immediately yelled out "F you, I hole," and started rowing away. I let Miha follow him for another minute and then called her back. I tied her in the yard and got her a hamburger. Good girl. Laugh at me in front of my friends? Prepare for inconvenience. Years ago I was at a friend's house playing board games. We were playing Settlers of Catan, which I brought. I did something kind of stupid during gameplay and my friend's roommate started making fun of me, implying I was stupid. At the end of the game we were going to play a different game, but roommate took all the fun out of it, so I decided to leave. I packed up my backpack with the games I brought and stuck around a bit to finish my beer. Roommate said something along the lines of, "Yeah, you should try reading the Settlers of Catan instructions or something. That is, if you know how to read." My friends kind of laughed nervously, but were mostly doing that sharp inhale through their teeth and going like, "Ooh, ouch." I finished my beer and said thanks for a good time. Went to the upstairs bathroom, which I knew was the one the roommate used since it was closest to her bedroom. I pulled the toilet paper roll off the insertable little pin piece, put that piece in my bag and left. Enjoy having to replace that mean-spirited witch. Went back a few more times after that and went upstairs to check if they had replaced that, and they never did. Had their toilet paper roll on the floor by the toilet. I never gave it back. Sweet revenge. Be nice or slow internet. Hope my sister doesn't use Reddit. For about a year now my younger sister has been a generally shitty person to the people around her, most times our mum, and I. For about a month now my response has been to throttle her internet from 10 MBs to 300 kbs, 100 kbs on her phone and computer. I do this whenever she has been overtly mean to our family for 1 hour or so. This act of revenge usually ends with me taking pity because she has unplugged and plugged back in the internet router 5 to 10 times at that point. Also every time I walk past her, when I'm throttling her internet I hint towards the coincidence of the internet becoming very slow when she is being a bad person. Pretty sure my mum thinks she's insane now. Every time my mum uses the family computer I take the speed limit off. I'll update this when she gets the hint that I'm doing it. Felt like this could be a good place to share this. Thanks for reading. Thanks for watching. What was your favorite story? Let me know in the comments below.